Good morning, guys. I hope you all are doing well. I know it's been a long time. I've been going through my trials and tribulations. Uh, However, all is well. I can't complain. God is good, and God does good things always. And He's redeemed me from those trials, and He's got me on a new path through life, and I am content with that reality, and I am embracing it with all that I have. Anyway, I do pray that you guys are doing well. If you're individually, if you're a family, combined, and that first and foremost, God is with you doing what He does best, taking care of us and redeeming us from ourselves. Well, as you can see, there's a drone flight, and I'm doing a voiceover on this one because DJI, for some reason, can't get the act together and restore the screen record for this particular aircraft. So I'm just gonna do a voiceover just to kind of like bring you up to speed on what's going on, and it's not gonna be for the entire video, just for a portion of it, the beginning portion, just indicating what we got and what actually is. So, with no further delay, let's get going. Well, obviously, the heads up display is different from all the previous videos I've had. As you can see, there's a speed, there's altimeter, there's artificial horizon, better known as HSI. There's a compass, there's a course heading, there's a wind speed, the WS underneath the speed reference. There's altitude, ASL, um, which dictate the altitude above sea level. Um, there's a lot of vital information on here, more than you would expect from a drone, but these type of enterprise vehicles are detailed in this way, unlike all the other scenarios that we have, such as the consumer brand, even the professional brand. I think, yeah, in order to get the true avionics, in order to get the true capability of a drone, you really have to put money into it, and you have to ante up for the more expensive of the options, because at that level they can't help but to give you what is deserved. It's it's an amazing experience to be able to be in flight and see your wind direction, and have a good grasp of what actually is going on. There's something that's unheard of. This is something in my military days that the Blackhawks have, was a radar altimeter, and so you have your barometric altitude indications for altitude, and then you have radar altimeter. So barometric is not that accurate, whereas radar altimeter is, and it's using a radar signal which bounces off the ground, returns, and it calculates the time of flight and extrapolate distance to the ground or to an object. Well, this is good, right? Because now you have an accurate depiction of your actual altitude from any object beneath you. So whereas barometric will not tell you the actual, if there's an object beneath you, whereas this variant of a radar altimeter does, and it will give you that that indication, both visually and audibly. So that's pretty cool. Um, so between that and wind, I mean, you're informed, and we're not even gonna really go into the sense aspect of it, because that part of it again adds another dynamic, which gives you indication of aircrafts in the area, and you're gonna see some of those examples pop up on the screen. I think I switch over to the map at some point, so you can kind of get a sense for that. I really didn't I didn't like zoom out so you can see the aircraft in the area, because the one that I saw was like 13 kilometers away, which wasn't close. But you know, if there was a close scenario, most close scenarios are like way high. You know, they'll come down to meters in some instance, but it's because not sorry, never meters, because obviously if they're at 16,000 feet, you know, that's an element of separation as well. However, they can sometimes be right overhead, but most of these aircrafts are airliners, and we're way clear of any approaches and or within the altitude restrictions set by the FAA and upheld by DJI and its intelligent flight. So that's in a nutshell. This aircraft actually represents itself really well. It flies very stable for just a quad, and it's amazing how well it performs. I also have the Matrice 600, and as you guys have seen in subsequent videos, that you know I've done some long distance on those guys, and it's I don't really I don't think the Matrice is as stable. The 600 is as stable as the 300. I can make that comparison definitively. Okay, so here's an example of the AirSense in play. And as you can see, 16.3 kilometers away, uh, way out of range. So this is the whole interface here is just completely different than what you would expect or what you would have on a conventional drone or aircraft, unmanned aircraft. It's it's sophisticated in more ways than one, and this is just like software aspect of it, not to mention the hardware and what it does, how well it's constructed, as well as the sophistication of the hardware and the build. It's amazing. It's good stuff. So as we transition off the water onto the land, you're going to start to see more of the radar altimeter kick in, and obviously water is always a problem for this kind of stuff because of the refraction. Um, However, it's a vital tool, especially when you're operating around the various type of terrain, and especially if you have to stay close quarters to the set terrain. It's is relevant and is necessary. So you can see the altimeter shows the distance to the top of the tree, you know, sparingly or sporadically due to the breakup in the tree, obviously, but the actual altitude um, above ground based on barometer, the barometer is constant for the most part. But and then you have the ASL, which is above sea level variant, which is in Florida is not that much different because of how flat Florida is, but it does have places where it does change. I even seen in one spot where it was negative, and so it was below sea level rather than above it. But that's all good. All right, so why are we climbing here? We're climbing only because I wasn't sure about towers, even though I can see ahead very clearly. You know, these type of things have a tendency of sneaking up on you, and of course, not knowing the area, um, I wanted to make sure that I was clear of any potential towers. High power, high tension lines, I wasn't concerned. It was towers, antenna, and various other towers that are out there for broadcasting and for um, repeaters and various other methods of communication. So, what do we got? We're at 70+% battery utilization. Well, sorry, 30+% on battery utilization, and reserved we have 70 plus. At 33 minutes in, the flight at this rate, which we're at 20,000 feet out, but we have a headwind of about 16 miles an hour. That's tremendous, right? What we're experiencing, and but the aircraft is handling well. Now, most of you guys who fly drones, you would notice that a FPV that's stabilized hides a lot. The unstabilized FPV cameras, they reveal the truth about the aircraft orientation and position and attitude, really attitude. So, but look at the artificial horizon. Look at the stability of this aircraft relative to the artificial horizon and or the horizon. Look how stable this flight is, especially going into a headwind of that type of speed. Isn't that phenomenal? Tell me that you see that. I tell you the honest truth, I don't even see that with the Matrice, and Matrice is a huge aircraft. Matrice 600. I have to specify because this is the 300, and the 600 is what I was referring to. I don't see that kind of stability, and this is an unstabilized FPV camera that's built into the aircraft. So imagine. So are they doing some kind of image stabilization? Not that I read. So I mean, if there is, correct me in the comments below. But as far as I know, there's no image stabilization transpiring there. And we're at 24,000 feet out with about 74% battery remaining. So I already know what I'm gonna land at. So I'm gonna let you guys get to the end and figure it out and do the math. If we didn't have that headwind, I think the numbers could have been alarmingly high for the distance. And this again, I must reiterate. There is no external packs attached to this aircraft. This is its native setup. The only thing that's not attached is the gimbal, and in this case the H20, not the H20T, but the gimbal is not attached. So this is just straight FPV and aircraft, and of course battery, which the batteries seem like they're heavier than the aircraft combined. All right, well, listen guys, enjoy the rest of this. If you have any questions, just ask. This is pretty standard. There's nothing here that's overly complicated that you can't really figure out for yourself. If you're a drone flyer, if you're not a drone operator or a pilot, then you may have a ton of questions pertaining to some of the instrumentation that you're seeing on the HUD. So if you do, just leave questions and I'll do my best to answer. Like I said, I have a lot going on, and I expect to ramp up my videos a lot more between drones and the solar, and of course now the electric car, which for me is the Model 3, long range rear wheel drive. I didn't think it was pertinent to get anything other because I do live in Florida, don't have a need for all-wheel drive. I'm not into the 3.2 0 to 60. It does plenty good at 4 seconds, and for me it was more the practicality of getting the max range out of it over the time driven. So I got release a few more videos about that and things I've done with it, as well as the new solar. So I still have the Claremont house, which is still on the solar, and I have a new house which solar is going to be implemented soon. So we'll get into that conversation as we get closer to the installation date. All right, well, there's the AirSense again. No aircrafts within the zone. 15 miles out is the closest one. American, blah, 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 something. But as you can see, this is a lot of information, and it's worth it. It definitely makes you a more competent and safer pilot, and I think all drones should be required to have this level of information, with the exception of the ones that don't have this kind of capability. Okay, so thank you very much guys for for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the video. I'm gonna throw some music in here just to break up the monotony. I think I've monotonized the video enough with my voice, but enjoy the rest of the video. God bless you guys. Continue to put him first, and all things will be possible through him. All right, love you guys. Looking forward to speaking to you guys on the next video. Okay, bye.